or say day, or say otumfuo is the King Solomon of our time, and some Ghanaians are like, hey, some men are GP walking. You see, in fact, otumfuo himself, right here, this particular visit, when you say, or you know, something very big, a K1ng Ghana, nanka you know, something cooler, you know, show. Wakwa waba, nanka, the one is videos are circulating online, you know. To say Okosha, the president, last year, Okosha, John Dramani Mahama, we saw footages, you know, some videos and pictures including speeches who said, I thought about thing, you know, something like that, something very cool. And the Ghana Police Service were like, no, the be, otumfuo, Oba Ghana Police Service, coding CCI, at Chim, a fan, Kwahodo, so said, your headquarters, I have fed, your entire shame. And no my brain as a sound of Ghana Police Service anymore. Of which about obey. I was saying ye shed the bit me. Now you displayed ye. I was a Ghana fool about the Ghana police. The Ghana traditional area, President Howard no. In fact, I was all no so. On nana no ma come akra. It me be siawo. Because one to me man I won't cost show sir. We have a lot to show you. Otumfuo. And so Oman Pene Amana to say Okosa Mahama di who ya photos of him and Nananum Kakrebio Mudi in a chibi debi. Omomani ye gigim. Something historic. There are speeches made currently from a year that moment, you know, Akko viral, including a year you are the King Solomon of our time, from the IGP yohunu to a year the Asantehene. A lot of things now are circulating. You benya abocheni walk you through the historic moment, the God of Hannah Timmy Koso. In fact, Ghana no, Ibinum Wotumi wo mind. You can joke with it, you can sit anywhere that you want, say whatever that you want to say, but I tell you, say Ghana no be Wotumi wo mind. Go baby abetimiaka. But me canokrabi say Ghana no, Ibi Wotumi wo. You see, one thing people are not seeing clearly, and say the history of Ghana state in a clear. Asante beka Ghana. So betimi atu omo so muntimi tu omo. Fine, omo ka Ghana, but ti kasado or beka Ghana. A sovereignty state awode no ho. Abusia, I want the police service. System bia, or no the provide security man. One more or no hine sumo. No mo so sumo no. In fact, one beautiful thing and the Ghana Police Service can here wo kwa na me fe kredi. The ATS as one say before the Ghana Police Service, no one account before them. Nana were system of where omni provide security for themselves. Omni etwa no mo beto asoke. Wo dey me say ye be work through it all. Kakra be enti me ni kan this particular details I can free hold. Enti we.
Ene ya hemfui edi nkita ho pa ya afi atwamu ye kai amfi a atwatwa mu kona brano yetimu se post ye mpanifo ye post Asantehene Mr. Christian Tete yohunu eda no na panfo kwasem se abakosem we ya na ehunye ye kese firi se ye ka bambo sem a ye nkabom adwumadie enye obakofo ene wodie enti prosin kwant min ni se adwuma no age se ye ne wone aka bi ewom te se ye nananom nyina ekabom ansa na process nyuma kwa baba na nanam hodada wodi wonjuma ehwe masum
oti dey ansa na police adwuma na ye beba no na de me enko echi kakra de ti
nanam nyina ekabom ansa na process nyuma kwa baba na nanam hodada wodi wonjuma ehwe masum bi ne perepere ye eba enti process eba beboae se nanam dwuma de a wodi se dada perepere ye ne asum bi beba no ebedi mu enti enya de ya process betime di sa adwuma no ama edi mu a ye be nanam
big statement from the Ghana Police Service. Ansana police adwuma beba Ghana nananu wo mudwumedi omudi bo Ghana ho ban dada. Enu nti omuntimi ndi dwumedi ekasiesi. Abra wo muntimi nkai nananom. Meaning say opanyi bi kwa akwasa wo mo ane aye bibi kakraka ne de ahia no no. Omuntimi nka so mo ya make say obi a wonye ye friend say ye friend say yi nananom fi ho a wo mo maka kese aka nko adabi nananom nso deserve say ye treat you omo te say de ne ye treat you otumfuo yi. Beautiful. In fact, every scene that Timiko told no was something historic. Me say obi wo tumi ewo oman no. Na me enkoye the beautiful God of Hannah omutimi enso ye ma de Asantehen a se ebusua na efe. In fact, Ghana police for ma
CCA one year the obroni be friend God of Hannah enidie ekwan so approach adwuma no efa edema wan hoho odimu akwaba ede womba omfikesie mu na ene egu so a etwago ewo nim so no emma enko a ene di se adwuma na se ne meka ye no ne emema no yetumi ye no ama no tumi ye ema ebru so ene waye amana ye fefe pa ohwe wan hofa no ohwe se ne wagina ho no ma bepem sa bre no on satuo no mo a bibia de adanse se ye
omugina awama. I tell you, sir, sorry to say, but the respect was so big to the extent that police ni babako sabi o collapse you and momo be fan. But that video didn't be and show for various reasons. But wow, person on second that video no oko internet ne so a we did design some ye benye biahe. We will try to find that video and post it in a tele channel nim and as your WhatsApp channel more. Respect no today it was massive for Asantehen. Wow.
Yanum emma no ebo modin ye pa menua brago.
Me da se menua ba ma order for dwumadie a etwagu e GH police TV na san so etwagu o abefo intenten fide ahodo no so o Facebook and so Ghana police service dwumadie etwa egu o nti so wa fide ben wa obetimi afa na won so wa hwe e wo honom Instagram so ade a etwagu e wo ho ye Ghana police service also obetimi ahwe na ye ko YouTube nso a e ho so bi dwumadie etwagu e wo ho. Ewo abefo ntentan kro na so bi mu no okọ X enkane na ye friend Twitter ho so dwumadie etwagu nti abusua for afidie no eto wo se wo phone so ebe won na se eye abefo de yi bia fa na efa eto Ghana police service na hwe dwumadie efe na be ma wati posi abakwasem so ase
sanso ene yesre se o hwe yenso a obeche ama foforo so ensa kan bie onua omme wo no obetimi asene ama no na ono nso nsa ka bi no nyina behwe aba behwe prosi amamre ene amane ahodo bia ye edegi ya hoho odimu ewo yatra ye kesie mu ha bi ni de ene uhunu wo kasafonyini eso a eye de ye ede ama otekoko so asantemawura otumfuo osetutu akwaba de aba enkran popone mantamu a eye prosi adwumakuo no atra ye kesie emu te obetimi ahye nso na odi ama ofoforo nso na ono nso etima hwe adwumadie no a etwa eguo no
say eno na akwasi bo ni beka se share the link.
Eti abusua after this scene no na omutimi gina ho don hwera hodo bebre just to show respect for the Asantehen. One beautiful thing that we also saw and it said when the Asantehen was coming, when otumfuo was coming, abusua the IGP himself welcomed Asantehen. There was a guard commander, assistant superintendent, a year kafui ajaman. Dianimu, all the necessary courtesy, all the necessary respect to meet with the Asantehen. Abushia, omudi enonso eguso. Aye, chile biase say, Charlie, Ghana no I wono. Ebi e wura. Me say ebi e wura. Be more near had. You heard this video.
Shall we, with all humility, be upstanding to welcome His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the Asantehene, to the forecourt of the National Police Headquarters.
So this is the movement that Asantehen ebedu ho. The movement otumfuo bedu here.
His Royal Majesty is exchanging pleasantries with other traditional rulers. and our invited guests.
From the Ga traditional area, including the Ga president, that is the president of the Ga traditional area. Otumfuo had to, greet all of them to show maximum respect also to them. Say, "Chale, mo masa asuna ma timi bumo." What church you
On behalf of the Inspector General of Police and members of the Police Management Board, we welcome His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei Tutu II, the Asantehene, to the National Police Headquarters. Our friends from the media, please kindly pave way. Please kindly pave way and take your position at the designated place to allow the guard please, our friends from the media, kindly pave way, leave the space.
Royal salute!
Kindly please take your seat. Kindly let us take our seat. Let us now pave way for the guard commander to pay the appropriate compliment to His Royal Majesty as we continue with the rest of the program. Please kindly be on your feet as we take the general salute.
Royal salute! Present!
We royal salute. Aye. Hinkesiye na abadu wa wasi echiaru wa hinkesiye kwa aso. To obi biara wo bi asore die echi Asantehene. That is the meaning. Sorry die echi Asantehene. On tenancy obi atenancy. You see e beti ya like. Inspector General of Police now. What's it to me no mind him?
Show dead arms!
Wow.
Wow. Dead arms!
Please kindly take your seat as the guard commander, assistant superintendent of police, K1ng Ghana, marching briskly towards His Royal Majesty to invite him to inspect the guard of honor mounted to pay the appropriate courtesy to His Royal Majesty.
Wow. That is the guard
Good morning,
commander.
Your Royal Majesty. Guard of honor formed up, made up of one other officer, 96 rank and file, with the police ceremonial band in attendance, ready for inspection. Assistant Superintendent of Police, K1ng Ghana, reporting Your Royal Majesty.
Wow.
Guard commander has invited the Royal Majesty to inspect the guard mounted to pay the appropriate courtesy.
So our invitation here, the guard commander, assistant superintendent of police, K1ng Ghana, I be invite you to otumfuo di omu kwe currently. So when you be a chale, you invite you to big places. We'll go through these situations. You'll be even confused. I would assistant superintendent and a big invite to separate wouldn't baby otumfuo knowing the process very well and yet something new to him. Wouldn't the diplomacy level no baby Edru. Charlie, he knew everything. No mistake. The beer cost no error. All this for the Asantehen. Ghana police one man also Charlie.
We are reminded that this program, this ceremony is being broadcast live on GH Police TV, on DSTV channel 362, and we are also live on all terrestrial channels. We're live on Facebook, we are live on Instagram, and we are also live on X.
Live on otumfuo radio also as well. Live on otumfuo TV and also live on K1ng Ghana TV. And one more come for all these things are part of the reasons as to why Omamo otumfuo versus and yet something very simple because they want to show Ghanaians all this. They bring a whole Ghana police for man. So who Ghana police near your bar on respected the way you see, look at how beautiful our more parade ni bia air console. Come on, accordingly. They want to show Ghanaians send a bit trust for Ghana Police Service and man all these beautiful things they have to show it, of course. And so people saying TMO to put me man on coca. And we see a display. Am I Ghana for you know?
His Royal Majesty is inspecting the all-female guard mounted to pay the appropriate courtesy for his historic visit to the National Police Headquarters. The guard commander is Assistant Superintendent of Police K1ng Ghana. She is ably supported by Assistant Superintendent of Police Joyce Ofori, and our guard Sergeant Major is in the person of PW Sergeant Juliana Agowa. Deputy Superintendent of Police Felix Ofi Osei Mabua. The bandmaster is Chief Inspector Godson Brian. And the drum major is Chief Inspector Daniel Adam.
Wow.
His Royal Majesty has just finished with the inspection of the guard. And now walking towards the days.
Asantehene kɔtena yeah.
Thank you.
There was some sort of permission.
Your Royal Majesty,
Say, or move it to me.
inspection over. May I please have your permission to march off the guard? Yes, Your Royal Majesty.
The guard commander, Assistant Superintendent of Police Kafui Ajima, has sought permission from His Royal Majesty to march off the guard, and same has been granted.
Yeah, to otumfuo granted. So betimi akọ. Ontenase obi atenase. Abusuafo, so this was the beautiful side of the situation. I see very very beautiful scene, historic. It's me record here where the headquarters Accra police. Now, when BB police headquarters, otumfuo the same be to dwa. Ye benya aboche ni akwa koti otumfuo nsem. But before no, me enko this speech the IGP edit to dwa according to amanfo bebre wo mo kire se King Solomon of our time the king no awutu your friend is saying IGP can ya de do mo ebinom so mo nya adwen wo sa no. But one thing that I have to say to tell people and say in our history, yes, Asantehen be K1ng Ghana. Before history, during history, bibi beka bibi ho a onkonta nye kura no a you should know say different things near the baako abeka baako ho ya combine it. Ayo man ho asem ne yekan yo. In general sense, that is country obi a no ode ne ho ye na koka country baako ho based on a certain reason a no de medical be chechi mu ache mo dada. Obi nim nkrata otumfuo ana Asantehen de ne nsa hya ase ansa na obeka Ghana ho. Wo nim say I said the respect no the man no. Omo nim bibia wo mo maka omu gu ase ho ni nim. Nti obehu a kwasampa bia na wo kan sem hu na kire Asantehen. But the titire wo man ni mu no omo nye sa na oman. Titire no enim say ampa Ghana sovereignty country. Inti Ghana ni king. Now so yet they still call the man king. So basically at the end wo krata no a ye mu bi ye nya mu hweye no nti a empanimfo wo man ni mu de omo da so Asantehen so yo hini ya wo ye king ya ye guase a ye nduru soro ho president bi aba wo bu Asantehen ken ba ye guase ye nim na so ye dim no ye ne cancel hunu kire Asantehen obi de man no de ne ba be kan o man ho. Do you think say wo sabi o papa ejapade na papa wo man ana o de koka Ghana ho a sabi o papa onko for a better negotiation oba ko kan kwase asem am ya je ne man So definitely it tells you something phone access to some document. I mean, what has a Ghana to sing cracker? Ghana to sing cracker. She, when I catch you, Ghana near Frefro Kobo. Kuro tribes be brain yako munyina boom. Ubia de ne by ye beka boom. Me no ga say okopie mu ewo your friend is saying Togo honum your friend is saying voter region ho baby. There are some people almost just say the negotiation they had with Kwame Nkrumah. They want to get out of the country. But abino yetawe kire say nkrata kro no mo kan kraba ni mu hwe. Intimate kire wo say Obia tribes na ye de be chichiri nya Ghana no. Obia ni negotiation on Ghana ko yo. Ghana and these other countries no. Into bonds and kwasampa for nkwa na tena so mo kan sem hu. But etitre no, have you ever wondered that? Have you ever wondered these reasons? Ade na etitre no a omunya office kese no a e wo man ni mu a ye bu wo mo pa no. Ade ntina omu no hu Asantehene Asantehene. Ba ye no a ye nduru ho a ye mbo bra bia na ye sie nim nyansa sen. Ghana mpanimfo ni ntia ko kenkan bu kakra bi as Ghana a sovereignty state. Ghana de and a president da no ntie ntimi nya press ye ntimi nya king mani nye. Ye no a ye nya access to some document bi no. But the American nyina say you can logically sit down and say Ghana the your country on its own. President da no ntie there is no king. Obetimi atena waka. But wo ana ye nyina nim sa Asante be kan Ghana wo papa eja pade na ya Asante a. For they ko kan Ghana ho nko for a better negotiation. We don't know what is inside that deal, that particular document. Now, a man won't be can Ghana. But whatever that is, and surprise you. So I am penning for high position to get access to all the documents. Ghana you can argue with your phone wherever you are watching me from. But they be a better than you kind of crash you. It seems that there was a certain negotiation. And man penning for any buoma, a Asantehene. Omo treating it says, oh man, crock or no better. When you make out, almost treating it to say, or man crocrona, whatever negotiation was inside those documents, or man crocrona, something like that. I don't know, but I am telling you what I think. We are going to go to the IGP, Abra, no, my favorite, Asantehene, and Sama on also at the two. Let's listen to the IGP, BNT IGP, Sama, on also the two Abonti, BNT.
Asantehene otikoko so yemawo akwaba. That is the literature I can speak. Yemawo akwaba. Your Royal Majesty, otumfuo II, the President of the Greater Accra Regional House of Chiefs, King Professor Otumfuo III Nugwamanche, representatives of the President of the Ghana Traditional Council, members of the Police Council, retired Inspectors General of Police, Deputy Interior Minister, Honorable Ebenezer Okrete Tel Abi, the Chief Director at the Ministry of Interior, Mrs. Doreen Annan, Director of Operations at the Presidency, COP Mr. Kofi Boachi retired, the Technical Advisor to the Minister of Interior, Mrs. Mamiya Adodankwa, members of the Police Management Board, Nananom, Nime, Name, senior officers and men, the media, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is with profound honor, humility, and great national pride that we welcome His Majesty, the Asantehene, and his entourage to the Ghana Police Headquarters today. Words alone cannot fully express the joy and privilege we feel in witnessing and hosting the great Asante Kingdom on this historic visit. This gesture is not only symbolic, it is unprecedented, a moment that will be engraved permanently in the institutional memory of the Ghana Police Service and indeed in the annals of our nation's security architecture. Your Majesty, ladies and gentlemen, today's gathering invites us to revisit history. Long before the advent of modern European-style policing, African societies, particularly the Asantehen Kingdom, had well-established systems of law, order, and justice. The Ahemfie policing system, administered through the Ashanti courts, was one of the earliest forms of organized.
What is the IGP? They can the same thing. Was it even before the Ghana Police Service? There was a different system, yeah, a different kind of police system, yeah. Near from the Ahemfie police system. And you see, before Ghana was formed, traditional leaders, they had their system of government already. They protect your mind. And no that time, not one say, and the Ghana Police Service cherish it. And all these are some of the reasons as to why Omunim say, the who we are who are there and Sabri, who say, yeah, more tune for I do tune for a wine. Ghana Police Service, but so who said, near whom are walking once and born. Nananum truly deserve this. Yes, because Nananum already doing this.
Policing in this land. These traditional mechanisms ensure social order, dispute resolution, and community safety through customs deeply understood and respected by the people. With the introduction of colonial policing, these indigenous systems were not erased, but rather blended into emerging state structures. The fusion of traditional authority with modern policing concepts helped shape the policing we know in Ghana today. Your Majesty, Nime, Name, ladies and gentlemen, as the revered occupant of the Golden Stool, you have not only preserved these values, but also modernized and strengthened them. Your consistent support for the Ghana Police Service, especially in the Ashanti region, has been both fatherly and exemplary. I recall that you have hosted several Inspectors General of Police and police leadership over the years, offering counsel, guidance, and encouragement, with doors always open to us. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Chief Constable of this country, I must commend Your Majesty and highlight your role in peace building and conflict resolution, which has had a profound impact on national security. Mentioning your exceptional mediation skills, which have restored peace in numerous conflicts across our nation, compels me to describe you as the King Solomon of our time.
I was say, and that particular statement when IGP make it, it been more Jakurado. I don't know what friends are saying the King Solomon of our time. I say,
Your wisdom, patience, and moral authority have brought calm where tension once prevailed, and unity where division once threatened our peace. Specifically, you chair the Committee of Eminent Chiefs that successfully resolved the long-standing Dagbon chieftaincy crisis, restoring peace and stability to the area. Your mediation efforts in Yendi, and more recently in the protracted Boku conflict, to mention a few, have yielded practical recommendations that continue to guide security operations. Today, the relative calm in Boku has significantly enhanced policing efforts and community confidence.
The Boko update is, IGP confirm an update from Boko. just so to enforce mediation, no recommendations or the ma abai no. One will go through the recommendations. You almost accept here, no the year you might peacefully. As you air cost currently. As I'm not working.
It is worth noting that chiefs, as custodians of land, culture, and customs, remain indispensable partners in maintaining law and order. In this regard, Your Majesty, you have personally intervened in numerous land and chieftaincy disputes in the Ashanti region, restoring sanity, reducing violence, and making policing more effective. These actions reaffirm the constitutional recognition of chieftaincy under the 1992 Constitution, which recognizes traditional authority as an integral part of Ghana's governance system. In the context of illegal mining, your directive urging chiefs to take firm action against it in their jurisdictions demonstrate the continued relevance of traditional leadership in addressing modern security challenges, and this is emulating. Your Royal Majesty, beyond peace and security, your contribution to national development is monumental. Through your humanitarian support to the helpless through the Otumfuo Education Fund, thousands of vulnerable but brilliant students across Ghana have received opportunities to pursue education. As Chancellor of Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Your Majesty...
You see, the Ghana Police Service and Ekanoma otumfuo yema Ghana. Thousands of people are all showing for free to school. And even he being the Chancellor for K1ng Ghana, no more all year school. No, what you want? Ujina also otumfuo nyere ma o mine. Who knew it? It make us say, I think I saw him a lot about otumfuo than omo mugu asiye ko mo kan kwasi asem de bia. I think that there is something that do not descend down all the time. Some of the information is available. As I said, unim nyansa nkura no abetimi agogo no. Some of the information is very, very, sacred. Empenimfo ba ho ban se emma bonti. And I'm sure say those kind of information is now accessible to Ghanaians. Empenimfo ni bibia ye nim. Because we all know that we are living in a state whereby as a president da no nti kinti mimpiem. But yet empenimfo no fresh Asantehene. Yet abine ba no abeka hwe me ba di otumfo ye mame mahama kebida atemusa kebida kofu akebida akofo ado akebida obi aba hwe di otumfo ye mame yesu eguase we nim hwe yesu di nsem hunu kekan de bi ka kire Asantehene kwasi akeka sa yes yakosko ado etiri. Continues
to bridge tradition and academia, ensuring that cultural heritage coexists with innovation and research. In the area of culture, diaspora relations, and global influences, you are a global symbol of African culture. Through cultural preservation, initiatives such as the Menchia Palace Museum and your engagement with the African diaspora, you have projected Ashanti and the Ghanaian culture far beyond our borders. These efforts have strengthened diaspora relations, enhanced Ghana's international profile, promoted tourism, and positioned our tradition as subjects of global academic and cultural study. Your Majesty, your presence at the police headquarters today marks a turning point. This historic honor is one that the Ghana Police Service and our fellow citizens hold in the highest esteem and do not take it lightly. The Ghana Police Service recognizes that over time we have relied excessively on imported European policing systems. This visit challenges us to return to history, re-embrace indigenous knowledge systems, and strengthen community and tradition-based policing. Let me say that your visit today will deepen cooperation between the Ghana Police Service and the traditional authorities across the country, not only within the Ashanti Kingdom, but nay, will serve as a blueprint and working document for strengthening relations between law enforcement and traditional governance. Moving forward, the police service will study and integrate traditional culture, customs, and local governance systems into our training, orientation, and reorientation programs. This will help the average police officer better understand the socio-cultural dynamics of the communities we serve and police more effectively with empathy, respect, and legitimacy. Your Majesty, your visit is a great honor to every man and woman in the Ghana Police Service. It will leave a lasting legacy, not only in brick and mortar, but in mindset, policy, and practice.
Wow.
We reaffirm our commitment to upholding state laws while respecting customary laws, and to build a security system.
The IGP can also, when it comes to the customary laws in the constitution, he reaffirms said they will protect it. Eti ahanso answer in Komobi Asasi Bobo Bafa, say there is a constitutional review committee report be about say ye begin anonymous so be K1ng Ghana chairman. Omodin command to the president John Omani Mohammed as a recommendation. Eba maybe can't wasem. You see, the Vietnam catcher was that in command did very important because discussing saying wahano am I buying any ban hosu na no maybe a sefata. Say we free no maybe no ye free. Because listen, so be a criticize a buying will never know so you're wrong. Look at what the IGP say. Or say when it comes to the customary respect, law says I respect the laws regarding anonymity himself. Or share boss say they will protect it. Meaning say what BB Kofo bi atena se. Kwame tue bi a wapiem wo manhia. Timini kofo bi akotena se akotro sankrata anti emfa koma president mpo. Basically, what the IGP is saying is no, it will never happen. They are going to protect a customary law away a constitution. Ahinsem bekoso ahinsem. The nananom dia bekoso nananom dia. Basically what he's saying. Say the na adwemu da ho tie mi a onim se bibi sa na opezo ka.
That reflects the history, culture, and aspirations of Ghanaian people. May this historic visit mark the beginning of a deeper, enduring partnership between the Ghana Police Service and the Transitional Authority for Peace, Development, and National Unity. Once again, we thank you, Your Majesty, for this royal visit and the honor done us. God bless the Ashanti Kingdom. God bless our traditional authorities. God bless the Ghana Police Service. And God bless our beloved country, Ghana. Thank you very much.
Abuja 80 that's a IGP and so on. The tell to me and Kotie a otumfuo the beautiful speech the Asantehen and so editor Mienti Asantehen. It is Asantehen. Very beautiful speech what they told a year. Let's listen to a otumfuo. Right. Let's go. Asantehen said there. Nana eat you.
Christian Tete yohunu.
Zoom.
The President of the Regional House of Chiefs of Greater Accra, my dear brother. Senior
ye do anom kranfo a wo mubuafo a wo compete over uba keni akwaba no ana otumfuo ka no or say the president of the Ghana traditional area my brother minua o man respect to her was minua so one tia yenko e chika kra bi ne to
Christian Tete yohunu.
Zoom.
The President of the Regional House of Chiefs of Greater Accra, my dear brother. Senior officers and men and women of the Ghana Police Service here assembled. Traditional rulers here assembled. Distinguished guests, fellow citizens of our beloved republic. Manshia has been pleased to enjoy a productive working relationship with the Ghana Police Service over the years. But this is the first time we have had the opportunity of visiting what I will call the engine room or the heartbeat of the service, thanks to the initiative Thanks to the initiative and kind invitation of our son, the Inspector General of Police. We are deeply humbled by the extraordinary courtesies extended to us this morning. Watching the ladies parade, I thought I should have worn my police dress to be here. I'll plead of the IGP to give me a police dress so next time when I come, I can be a policeman. But this honor is not intended to me alone, but duly shared with the entire community of traditional rulers.
I was just out to some from my microphone, free her. Free air headquarters honum baby on your program no from my airborne and air bassa in free
who are the guardians of culture. I'm pleased to be joined by NI President and other traditional council members. I hope they share this honor with all of us. It is truly inspiring to survey the amazing lineup of the top brass who not only make up the entire command of the Ghana Police Service, but represent over a century of dedicated and exceptional service to the nation. And whilst I was walking in, I saw former IGPs that I've dealt with, and I'm glad that they are here today. Interestingly, as far back as getting to 27 years, my first police ADC, I saw him now, husband rated, he's now Nana from Bonketia. He was my first ADC who was looking after me. 26 years ago.
Wow.
I don't know what rank he has now, but he was my ADC at Meshia at that time. This is not a routine or a mere ceremonial visit. It is intended to be a landmark event, marking a moment in history where two ancient responsibilities meet to begin a momentous conversation. The guardianship of values and the enforcement of law. One institution draws its authority from ancestral memory. The other draws its mandate from the Constitution. Yet both exist for one sacred task: the preservation of order, dignity, and peace in society. Before we proceed upon the historic journey, let me, in the spirit of the new year, convey a message of glad tidings to the gallant men and women who make up the Ghana Police Service. We come with abiding gratitude to each member of the service, from the lowest constable to the top leadership gathered here today, for your selfless sacrifices to keep us safe over the years. And we bring you hope for progress and prosperity in the years to come. The Ghana Police Service is one of the institutional legacies bequeathed.
But in fact, otumfuo wonkayo. Say what me akai 27 years ago. Police penyiri pa na ejobon ho bai. The trusted officer. No born ho bai. Ni aid camp. Wakai no. See wohunu ho say 27 years ago. One no na eja ono na ebo Asantehen ho bon menji. Wakohunu wakai no ho. Abodidi. Wow, Asantehen wonkaye. Wow. As say otina ni nkaya. Unyini nche. Nti mum yenhwe ha no ne yemfa afuto bi mfim so otumfuo atimi akai obi a waye adwuma no 27 years ago. Looking at otumfuo's age now, papa ni over 75 years. Man, Onkai, that is good.
To us by our former colonial rulers. From the first Ghanaian who took over the mantle of leadership from the departing colonial commander, the highly distinguished Erasmus Ransford Tewia Majite, to the energetic leadership assembled here. Today, the police service has gone through many challenging epochs. Changing political circumstances have impacted on the service in different ways. But it is fair to say that through it all, the service has maintained a level of commitment and professionalism we should be proud of. Whenever and wherever you have been called upon to undertake international duties, you have acquitted yourselves with full credit. The greatest pride of Ghanaians today is that our nation is recognized in the world as an oasis of peace in an environment of turbulence. The international community widely acclaims us for the safety in our streets.
Otumfuo aka brofo bi ho na brofo de yeme de pa. O se Ghana fo nyina ye da so ne se ewiase nyina be hu ye se ebinom ka no oasis, ebinom ka no oasis. O se wiase nyina be hu ye se ye oasis of peace. Na ye ka sa de we ya ho. Ukọ eye desert so a. Ubetimi echini desert so a anase biaye bi, you will never get a source of water. But the little portion as oye the only place, but oye kitwa pa wo biaye ho. A obenye nsuo no saa na efre ho enti eho no mu ye ketwa sedien a one ne ho na, and at the end of the day omankwa. So here Otumfuo is trying to tell obi a ohwe ni bia se ne Ghana tie bia no de dey so a ye hwehwe nyina ne se ebe baabi a ho na when it comes to peace se wi ase nyina ni aso bi mpo a ebe na papa ni bude mudu Ghana de eho na se eho a place a unya akọ keke no kra no to say a reward be because of peace sake. Like peace and a banner enter Ghana. And that is what we are all looking for. So at the end of the day, Otumfuo was trying to tell Obi already be said, Yenya Reshemu or the Ghana Police Service. Wow. Papa Nekasa was it. Wow.
If we take pride in our climate of peace and accept the plaudits of the world for the safety in our streets, we cannot fail to acknowledge the crucial role of the frontline protectors of our peace and security. When we snuggle in our comfortable beds at night, we cannot forget that there are thousands of our sons and daughters battling with mosquitoes while dutifully protecting us from the snares of criminal minds. And while we trudge along our motorways, whether in our shining limousines or the humble trotro or aboboya and praja, we cannot forget that there are again thousands of our sons and daughters keeping guard in the most inhospitable spots just to make sure we arrive safely at our destinations. The truth is not in us if we fail to acknowledge that we owe a huge debt of gratitude to the blue uniform for the safety we cherish. So today we say Aiko to the police for faithful service to the nation. Aiko for your selfless sacrifices in the most difficult terrains. Aiko for the safety in our streets. And Aiko for selflessly standing guard while we sleep. As I have already mentioned, the Ghana Police Service is one of the legacies of our colonial past. But long before the first police uniform was sewn, communities had learned how to live together. Before courts were built, disputes were settled. Before statutes were written, wrong was already understood. Custom was the first law. Culture was the first constitution. It taught restraint before punishment, responsibility before rights, and harmony before victory. It reminded people that their actions did not end with themselves, that every deed echoed through family, lineage, and memory. In those days, a child feared disappointing an elder more than facing authority. A man thought twice before wrongdoing, not because of arrest, but because shame will outlive him. Conduct was shaped long before crime could take root. That is the quiet power of culture. When culture is strong, crime struggles to breathe. When culture collapses, law enforcement is forced to compensate. No number of officers, no matter how disciplined, no matter how well equipped, can replace a society that has lost its moral compass. Law enforcement functions best where people already believe that order is worth protecting. This is why we have been pleased to join hands with Dr. yohunu, the Inspector General of Police, to initiate this conversation. It has been most useful at this point in time to engage with an IGP steeped in history and culture and able to appreciate the essential interplay between the two. He is aware of the extent to which the colonial authorities relied on traditional authorities for the maintenance of law and order. Indeed, you know that the British were content to make domestic law and order a joint function between law enforcement and traditional rulers. When the Asante Nation became part of the new nation state of the Gold Coast, the Asantehen was allowed to keep and maintain his own police. Ahemfie police had all the
otumfuo say can't send me. Or say abra Asantehen K1ng Ghana hono. They had their own police system. The Ahemfie police. Also because say Asante was, a state on its own. Edi show me say my esi ne ya me gbachire na mini ho. Uti ana me afei na me sa ka videos a me gbachire wo. Credited to the Ghana police. But also since me catch oni nyina ana I say prior ye have video nyina eno na I to say omo nyina eka Ghana police be kan ye the IGP himself ababa be kan and otumfuo is repeating the same thing. As man me catch we be kan me catch we say I had to say there are some documents be yenye accessible to us. Ye nim ye wom. And I think say Ghana penifo ni nim ti no mubu otumfuo sa. Who ni miminim. But we say ade that maximum respect ade. And we say when you otumfuo free hwa ohine bay no wo Ghana sabi me nkase ntia panyi bia na ohine bia me buo bia krom hene. You know how I cherish the voter region, the northern region, everywhere. But ohine bia no wo Ghana also one full region so full region so atese through a regional house of chiefs regional house the abaya creating no go be akwa president ohini bi enu also onu nsase na a whole region negotiation be no tumfo anu wo have here onim ode ne man no this one no the police system no ode kokon obi man ho sabi uka ase sabi uka ase ni nyanse ni ho se obehwe nkrata ma assign de ye ode ni tumi nyina ba makro no wa ka do tumi nyina ba makro ubedi ho hene. I believe said the negotiation I believe said the negotiation was something like okay odim me ba be come ho keke in terms of my resources mo betimi tina otumfuo said the resources no said any to me also aban no na de open ode ho or discover bibia me resources no okay muni metimi de akam ho but me lance there me lance there said na me tia me de me ho no me lance there me lance. What if that was the negotiation? If says another negotiation it here, then it means Asante is like Sabi, a country within a country. The resources in there, a country no, but the lands in there, the government do not have full authority on the lands. Inkrata. Tiwa, otumfuo state history bi wa ha. Tiwa.
Long before crime could take root. That is the quiet power of culture. The safety in our streets and our equal for selflessly standing guard while we sleep. As I have already mentioned, the Ghana Police Service is one of the legacies of our past colonial past. But long before the first police uniform was sewn, communities had learned how to live together. Before courts were built, disputes were settled. Before statutes were written, wrong was already understood. Custom was the first law. Culture was the first constitution. It taught restraint before punishment, responsibility before rights, and harmony before victory. It reminded people that their actions did not end with themselves, that every deed echoed through family, lineage, and memory. In those days, a child feared disappointing an elder more than facing authority. A man thought twice before wrongdoing, not because of arrest, but because shame will outlive him. Conduct was shaped long before crime could take root. That is the quiet power of culture. When culture is strong, crime struggles to breathe. When culture collapses, law enforcement is forced to compensate.
Indeed, omo call for say the Ghana edru nyina echi no. We are supposed to kill tradition. Ye tradition free ho. Ebinom hu ne say tradition mpo na ema Ghana nkoso. Otumfuo answer sankofo ne say. Hey, long before the Ghana police, we otumfuo kan, but don't forget the IGP so can the same thing, right? Ghana was peaceful. The system no more fast to make sure say boni and also. Na boni wo ho, but you know say boni ne nte say ne. Tini e ka say ne de boni ados means an kan na boni no so. So otumfuo catch the Ghana police ne Ghana manyina. Kwanya wo mo fa so a during their era. Na what we call the Ghana police in the hall, but na ahimfie police etimi e bo modern ama krono no so. A woodie no so. Dey na no mo ye. What system were they using na no mo in terms of security better than any? Tumfuo catch the woman. We no catch them say these are the reasons as to why muyi nananom free mu enye. I'm sure so kai di okai no. They based on factors be to say shape any a lot of things bia na amani person so obedi boni and sa connection wo nananom no munimu say ebu a wo nananom so ti a osan de to aso I'm sure so te o say if the respect for yamamra ni amane yen tradition ye nananom no o say eyira boni enipa bedi because obu o ha boni e wo kwa kodin onim say ekoni krom a de krom enya papa ma na busua be se na busua ni monyam animonyam a omowo e wo krom ho no emfa ntie ne bone no kra onya ni obu ho no ma meka sei bokunto kwa ekosui ofriman prusi anase kusasi o e ha no to the sense oduru ba bi ontimi nka se be kusasi na man prusi because of very say ni baba ka se mo de mo ne ntokwa. You see, so that is the effect of tradition into or pese oye bibi e mema ni krom aye animonyam obia paade e mema animonyam ba di krom. That is the influence of tradition. Obia don ahin say obia don na mamre na mane obia kuma na mamre na ma nti otumfo tum say ebu ani pawo ma ahennie no etu otwa boni ebesi eda kusasi ni mamprisi ntokwa ya sabi etu atwa yi kusasi fo beka se mfa na nanom nsem ho biem mamprisi fo beka se mfa na nanom nsem ho biem enim guase ba me mfa me ho biem mamprisi ni ntidie mbeku boni ani ba bedi because onim so odi boni sede a ono mfa no animonyam a woma ahensem ayira otumfo ka chom the reason as to why I was animonyam a wa ahensem ye upholding ye uplifting very important. So listen,
No number of officers, no matter how disciplined, no matter how well equipped, can replace a society that has lost its moral compass. Law enforcement functions best where people already believe that order is worth protecting. This is why we have been pleased to join hands with Dr. Yohunu, the Inspector General of Police, to initiate this conversation. It has been most useful at this point in time to engage with an IGP steeped in history and culture and able to appreciate the essential interplay between the two. He is aware of the extent to which the colonial authorities relied on traditional authorities for the maintenance of law and order. Indeed, you know that the British were content to make domestic law and order a joint function between law enforcement and traditional rulers. When the Asantehen nation became part of the new nation state of the Gold Coast, the Asantehen was allowed to keep and maintain his own police. Ahimfie police had all the authority of the
hey, na history be no otumfo keken. Hey, asema papa na kanimodo. I say when the Asante was joining Ghana, when Asante was becoming part of Ghana, negotiations on money about having tini ba. Let's not prepare my specific video on this. They were allowed to keep their own police. And to say when you that the entire say Asante region was certain forces be their defense force and conform people mention but when you that security no to push go the listen them catch us say unim negotiation otumfo ni aban call ya ansa na ode ne nsa ase ma Ghana and as said we obeka Ghana on nsa ase kwa don fa ma Ghana obeka Ghana me say unim K1ng Ghana wa dwuma bi wate wa analysis no ene de me am kan fo me unim negotiation no I told you amafo ya no mo de K1ng Ghana di agro ye kan sam so na esi o na obi akwa akwaje afa so de kan o se onu obeka Ghana ho no wanfa se owo tumi so otini police ana oni ni wanfa nka deal no hu So Asante region have the right to have on one kasadi police system. Come over here, dear Mudusano. What's the idea?
That is the quiet power of culture. When culture is strong, crime struggles to breathe. When culture collapses, law enforcement is forced to compensate. No number of officers, no matter how disciplined, no matter how well equipped, can replace a society that has lost its moral compass. Law enforcement functions best where people already believe that order is worth protecting. This is why we have been pleased to join hands with Dr. Yohunu, the Inspector General of Police, to initiate this conversation. It has been most useful at this point in time to engage with an IGP steeped in history and culture and able to appreciate the essential interplay between the two. He is aware of the extent to which the colonial authorities relied on traditional authorities for the maintenance of law and order. Indeed, you know that the British were content to make domestic law and order a joint function between law enforcement and traditional rulers. When the Asante nation became part of the new nation state of the Gold Coast, Asantehen was allowed to keep and maintain his own police. Ahemfie police had all the authority of the colonial police well into the onset of independence. Along the original Gold Coast colony, one of the most eminent chiefs was Nene Azuma Tekole, the corner of Menyakrobo, who in his life played a key role in
when Asante was joining Ghana, no, the negotiation they went with the government, you know, that time, no, and he said we will keep our own police system. Hey, that was the negotiation. I said, wow, him said, they said, we were Jimmy Kurano. You have to say, oh, Nana, and now, Papa, I don't want to country on where this. And you see, be to one country. Be corona, the Mababe Chichi Machremo. Negotiation, no man, no Ghana, UK. Queen Elizabeth Nana chaired that program. No, but they can't be teaching much. Reason as to why Asante Babeka Ghana, Charlie, whatever that was in that document in the Charlie. Masha means I became that document, you know. Masha bet this is so secret. Timin praying cope. Because Mr. Campua meet me can't Ghana for. Bet me a shame keke. Nam the beer to meeting for Abacus, baby maker. Because any idea was accessible to every Ghanaian. Between the government and otumfuo. It's not me catch you in the beginning of this video say. Why I worship me? Why I also Ghana ho ankwasi. I can cancel the way otumfuo atemwa. Di busa wasemu. Do you know the deal the Asantes had with the government before they were joining? Because a foolish man will not even go for a foolish negotiation. And to me catch you say, are there no document in the movie? And otumfuo atebe miensa ho wa video everyone. What deal no ho miensa. And miensa of that details no me minim de wo back. Otumfuo amane mehu negotiation Asantene otu ene Ghana kwadu o mehu miensa. 1 eba o che so de nsase no de ma aban no amfa de tumi ama aban no. 3 o che se na Ghana ye ni wono no ye old. O ade mo no de o de beje ade edika. O se che so no right to have the police system, Charlie. But otumfuo bu Ghana, I'm telling you, because engo bia nanga do betre, but otumfuo still permit the Ghana police to work because when him see a carbon, it was so agree on that negotiation. No man Ghana ni nyina ye ba ko ne ye hwe Asante so. Otumfuo Charlie obi wo hanka a hand time pro max pa kebe koso wo kra within the country. But the Ghana police na the born ho by. For unity purpose. Bibia no abeka che Ghana. On say Bibia no aka che Ghana police o. On can't tell even one even the personal security commission who is from the Ghana police. Until no the police. That Ahemfie police is still there, no, but on man the Ghana police need more respect than even the Ahemfie police are more mention currently. And this is beautiful. Otumfuo is so humble. Like, wow, beautiful.
the preservation of law and order. It is no wonder that Kroboland gave us the first Ghanaian head of the police, the eminent Terry Amajite, who was to go on to serve as leader of opposition in parliament. And it is no surprise that the seed of the past continues to flower in our incumbent IGP. The lessons of history suggest that we can build a safer, more peaceful society by conscious effort to bring the guardians of culture and the protectors of law ever closer together to create an interlocking mechanism based on the cardinal principle that culture cannot do without the police and the police cannot succeed without culture. Culture without law becomes nostalgia. Beautiful stories with no teeth. Law without culture becomes false, effective but brittle. One shapes the heart, the other restrains the hand. A society that restrains only the hand while neglecting the heart merely postpones disorder. As the king and embodiment of one of Africa's great enduring cultures, I've seen culture at its finest, and I have also seen it at its worst. I've opened up the deliberations of Asantehen and our traditional councils to the global media so the world can see how genuine customs resolves disputes peacefully, preserving relationships and dignity. I've also seen how distorted tradition may be used to justify violence and impunity. What we have seen and done reinforces my belief that when authority, traditional or otherwise, employs disorder as a tool, it has abandoned legitimacy. Custom was never designed to protect criminals. It was designed to prevent crime. Every culture in Ghana provides a formula for resolving disputes, and it is only when our fidelity to cultural values fail that disorder takes over. True tradition aligns with justice. It does not compete with it. This is why the role of the Ghana Police Service is indispensable. I recall that Christian only recently assumed the position of Inspector General of Police under a cloud at a time when public expectations of the police were high and patience was thin. Within this short period, the impact of leadership has been felt, and we see a style reflecting the essential element in law enforcement.
Otumfuo, one of the main reasons as to why or trusted the Ghana Police Service for unity. But basically, he's stating things, reasons, be to say, yohunu baye, IGP baye. Ghana for no more hope about the former IGP in Papa. Dampare. If you don't almost think yohunu, won't me more do me. Otumfuo the twaso. Or say no, that time man Ghana for any hope about yohunu. Yohunu wait me approve che Ghana for say or baso be boy juma and ampa or boy juma. Otumfuo confirm me juma pa yohunu ebo. The new IGP, Emma Ghana,
Calm authority anchored in professionalism. The greatest victory of law enforcement is prevention. And prevention begins long before police sirens sound. It begins in homes, and it begins in homes where discipline is taught, in communities where elders are respected, in cultures where wrongdoing is socially discouraged before it becomes legally punishable. This is where culture performs its most important work. In a society where values are strong, the police officer is not viewed as an adversary, but as a partner. The uniform commands respect not because it carries force, but because it represents shared principles. Now imagine a society where values have collapsed. In such a place, the police officer becomes a symbol of oppression. The law becomes an external imposition, and crime becomes defiance masquerading as freedom. The difference between the two societies is not the number of laws on the books, it is the presence or absence of culture. It should be obvious to us, therefore, that the alignment of cultural values with the values of law should be the first step towards crime prevention. Our visit today sets us up on a journey towards crystallizing the alignment of values and sends a powerful national message. The tradition and modern law enforcement are not rivals struggling for relevance. They are collaborators safeguarding the same future. When traditional authority respects legal authority, communities stabilize. When police respect local customs, cooperation deepens.
Jump.
When both communicate openly, crime loses its hiding place.
Jump.
If law alone can save society, then countries with the thickest law books will have no problems, no prisons at all. Yet even prisons have rules and still require values. The truth is simple, even if uncomfortable. No society can outsource morality entirely to the state and expect peace.
Jump.
Together, we must raise citizens, not just enforce laws. Therefore,
Jump.
I have come to join you to call together for deeper institutionalized collaboration between traditional authorities and the Ghana Police Service. Let chiefs serve as allies in community policing. Let officers be trained to understand the customs of the people they protect. Let dialogue precede deployment and mediation precede confrontation. This is not softness, it is intelligence. The future of public order lies not in louder sirens, but in stronger values, supported by competent, disciplined law enforcement. We hope the conversation we begin to...
The how otumfuo say to the Ghana Police Service and so forth. Eja say the one you do a foot no better charm in na e bi abobra. Say police service adwuma ne be ye ya enye de bia, you know. Macho we hwan say no mu hunu nipa de bi. Enya aben hudo aben no awoka ne nche say aben yi wo obube. Nye dede Ghana police obu otimi hunu nipa sa o say nye no na che say we adwuma no. No. Nemum ebuo yemmu omo ayebo omo ban Ghana police emu omo bo omo ban timemu for Ghana for if they respect them or say hwe eno nche say mo mre nemum eno che say muni munyansa na muni madwuma amoye you know very you know
will culminate in some institutional arrangement which should guarantee effective and respectful collaboration. You will no doubt be aware that among the guardians of traditions we are fortunate to have eminent men like my own brother Togwe Sri, Naomefia Ovalo, who before his entombment was one of the highest ranking police officers, and he even served in Asantehen. You can have every assurance about the presence of a vast community of guardians of culture, ready to connect with you for a new era in nation building. We have conveyed our message of hope and progress to the Ghana Police Service. We have assured you of our gratitude for your faithful service and selfless sacrifices for our protection and safety. But we cannot conclude without acknowledging persistent public disquiet about lapses that undermine discipline and engender mistrust. We have to admit, however, attractive the arguments may be, there's going to be more than a mountain to climb if we ignore public concerns about police values. I have always believed that the discipline and the values instilled during training by the police and military shapes one for a lifetime. No one who goes through the training is ever in doubt about what the uniform represents and the values they profess to uphold when they bear the coat of arms. So it is puzzling, to say the least, when Ghanaians see men in uniform act publicly in a manner which evidently compromises the integrity of the service. They provide an escape route to doubters who will argue that if the men of the disciplined service cannot maintain their values, how can they expect civil society to be able to do so? As we embark on this journey together, we will urge you, IGP, and your devoted colleagues to seriously tackle issues affecting police integrity and public trust. It may well be necessary to reinforce or upskill the values you include in your men, so they are left in no doubt. Whatever they do which compromises the integrity of the police also dishonor the uniform and the coat of arms they bear. I also hope that you work towards making the service politically neutral. There will always be one government responsible for the state of Ghana, and as the police service of the state, you are sworn to be unalloyed in your loyalty to the government. But there must be a line drawn between the government and a political party, and I believe both government and the service will find it in their common interest for the police to be manifestly to be pursuing law enforcement with bias towards none, but without fear or favor, affection or ill will.
Sure.
When I survey the galaxy of agile men and women assembled before me today, I'm filled with confidence that you are up to any challenge that the year may throw up. And I encourage you to stick together in continued dedication to the upliftment of the service. To you, Dr. Christian Tetenyoro, the IGP, I commend your leadership and encourage you to continue steering the service with firmness, fairness, and foresight. The work you have begun will outlive your tenure if anchored in values. Custodians of tradition, Nime, let us preserve our customs not as relics of nostalgia, but as living systems that cultivate discipline, peace, and justice. And to every citizen, remember that the destiny of this nation is shaped not only by laws passed in parliament, but by conduct practiced in homes. When culture stands upright, crime bends low. When culture walks with law, society walks in peace. May the year 2026 bring all of us peace, charity, joy, and prosperity. Thank you very much.
Pia. I wish I for 18 na say otumfuo. I dear na or they to I don't know. And then they why fortunate and why lucky. Now, lucky why you know say what about negotiation that otumfuo hard with it? Then time administration. Our de Ghana be count on. Why fortunate? One who know mommy and say be a negotiation. That secret document. Obi enim na Asante kwa Ghana ho kra de na otworo ye. De na say we tra fa ye wanya bi atie. Wanya bi atie. Woni mu da afi wanya bi atie. Otumfuo making it clear and I hope so. And I'm sure said there are a lot to be unraveled. Dear any kwan say ye nyina ye hunu de. Wo mo nka ho ase. But kakra wo se wo hunu. De mu dro baako. Ana wati nene. For the respect to Otumfuo Ghana. Would be so many come. And when home bonnie be sabi. Emma Ghana and Philly yes onyasuye. Still, the police system, the military, top administrators of the country, leaders, still one more friend as in fact, they even stated it. Say, Otumfuo, saying, the IGP said, you are the King Solomon of our time. King Solomon no answer. King Solomon no pass. And these were some of the things so mutimi catch Otumfuo. We do be encourage K1ng Ghana in case of any update. You better show that next video. Do not forget. Why say my what you person kwa would do it. On share this a catch so. Share now be and so answer and can be. You better show that next video and say be na cost for mind mu. Me catch them say be cost for mind mu. We didn't be kunkun ni power mind mu. Me the story ne be bremo. Me the abremo. Me the bremo I think say enra say enra chi anado. We betimi ahwe nipa bone for wodi bone e wo o mind mu. Betimi check that video. Currently upload video check be 10 days ni upload video. All the videos they bring on your live streams because my catch them say minimum time I be record the video no pre uploads no near be hu adwuma edit here the be bring on na mini time this say me streaming live now I information issue to who say notification aso say about live no aka ho wan kan ho abeba no beba betu mfimfi ya wala ya kasa du mfimfi no na afi na won so waso notification aba dia no maka ho ya ye be dinka ye be say hia be do mu nyina pia